We're at a point here where, and this is pretty early for if you've watched my lists in the past, this is pretty early for movies that aren't like offensively bad. They're just not great. And that's what I would say about Traffic. It's okay. There's no chance of you seeing it in a theater now, so lower your expectations, and it might be a completely serviceable movie. If I saw this like on a flight, I might enjoy it a bit more. But when you're going out seeking a time, this doesn't fulfill much. It's a snack. It's not a meal. I don't know how else to put it. Not great. The tone. They have this movie set up so perfectly, and fuck it up. Like they really get you into everything. They really get you into this movie, and it just becomes this fucking joke. This jump scary bullshit. Another fucking October. Well, I don't know why the release date is so important to me with stuff like this. This and Hellfest. Halloween came and was a Halloween movie. The Nun riding on Conjuring 2. Anybody who doesn't like horror, when they make fun of stuff in horror films, I can point to 90% of the shit that they would hate in this movie. Like it's just a stereotypical jump scary. It bothers me. It probably could be a little bit higher on my list, but I was so set up with the fucking gothic look and the old school church and fucking when did it take place? World War II. It's old school. Like it gave me this really gothic-y Dracula vibe to it. And man, it just never filled those shoes, and it's typical mainstream horror fare. Jump scares, heavy. I'll just say I was none too pleased with this movie. Next on the list is something you're probably gonna have a hard time finding. It's called Stillwater.
Stillwater.
My apologies to the filmmakers if I was sent this to cover. Guys go out on a retreat, and high school friends meet up years later to go on a retreat at a camp, and something happens, and throughout the rest of the movie they're trying to figure out who did it, what happened, why. I would imagine it's kind of tight on the budget, kind of tight on a lot of things. It's low on my list for mainly price reasons. Last year I had what a fucking, apologies Vince, Never Hike Alone. I had Never Hike Alone is like 37 on my list, but I loved that movie for what it was. This, like, it's just, again, it's another thing where I'm putting it up against big budgeted stuff, so perhaps unfairly this movie is this low. It's not horrible. It's not, listen, it's not great either. Maybe the fact that there's nobody in this movie, a little hard to get into. Nothing really jumps out. There's one or two shots, cinematographically speaking, that were nice. But again, like you could see the restriction in some of this movie. But who done it? Again, if you somehow have access to this movie on a plane, then the people who made this movie have done their due diligence and work and gotten it out there. But I don't know if you'd have access to this. This is a movie you're gonna have to seek out, and lower your expectations if you do, and enjoy it. Man, we're in the fucking 90s and I'm 80s, and I'm trying to defend movies here. What? Crazy Rich Asians. Oh, perhaps I was expecting My Big Fat Greek Wedding a bit too much, but man, I don't like any of these characters. I guess it's right there in the title. They're rich. There's things that happen in this movie that, whoa. This feels like an Americanized version of what we think Asians are, or crazy rich ones. And it's just that the characters are kind of deplorable. I don't care. I don't care about either of them. And money has so much value and I don't know. For those of you who like stuff like Cribs and Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, that's a really bad reference. Old. Go watch Pretty Woman. Like seriously, if you want to, that's even more. It's a prostitute who kind of swings up in society. This is just the female's a doctor. They're all rich. They're all extremely comfortable, and money has a lot of value. Really watered down. Again, I have no business speaking on Chinese, Asian culture, but a lot of this felt like Americanized versions of these cultures. And I think the fact that this movie hasn't even made $1 million in places like China, Japan, that kind of backs me up. I guess the people who read the book enjoyed it because it steamrolled here in the States at the end of the summer, but ugh, ask more of your characters. Fuck. Next, 22 July, which is a Netflix film, a docudrama about the terrorist incident in Norway on, you guessed it, the 22nd of July. I forgot what year it was. See, everybody says 9/11. Some people forget what year 9/11 was. It's okay. It's okay. It feels, you know, if I said, considering it was on Netflix, I'm quite disappointed. If it was something that it feels like a investigation discovery type movie. If it were one of those, I'm like, wow, that was actually really good. But because it was on Netflix, it's like, it was all right. A little long. They could have tightened it a bit. You get a little too into two ends. You get the terrorist's perspective a bit, and then one of the survivors' story a bit. If they could have tightened both ends up a bit, it could be more appreciated. But again, not offensively bad, not terrible, just kind of that happened. Happy Time Murders. Oh, another thing that if you've seen it in the trailer, the trailer does a lot for you here. If you're turned off by it, don't watch it. If you're like, man, I need to see more of that shit, watch it. It's a one-note joke, but not faulting Melissa McCarthy here for this movie. Things that you associate with children doing adulty things for 90 minutes. This would have been a cute SNL bit or something. Again, the trailer, this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm getting here, and you get it. All right, we get it. Oh man, yep. Man, that puppet likes to come, huh? Oh man, he's having a good time. We all have a good time. Puppets. Again, just inoffensively okay. Buddy, what you want a really good version of this movie, go watch Take Two. If you want a really good version of this movie, go watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Or even, what was it with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr.? Due Date? Those two are both better versions of this movie. But, again, inoffensively bad. There's moments that I certainly laugh. The dude from, fuck, I forget his name. Like, see, I don't know him from television. I know him from stuff like The House. I liked him in The House. The House was terrible. I like this guy. I've seen this guy, he does improv quite a bit. I like him. He's kind of funny in this movie. That's really it. Don't set aside time for these movies. It's a road trip movie with a kid who's going to college and picks up this wacky character, and hijinks ensue. You interested? Good. Go check it out. The Rock's becoming a bit of a character. For as much as I'm saying Liam Neeson has kind of become a character, The Rock is. Listen, you make that paper, boy. I'll tell you what was neat, seeing the fucking Sears Tower come down. That was, it's not even called the Sears Tower anymore, is it? I was in awe of the spectacle, and we kind of have gone away from that. I mean, there's that and shit like 2012. Disasters in film were kind of at least in American film, were kind of a no-no for a bit there, because of our history. In 2001, see, I know the date. This is a spoiler. The Sears Tower comes down in a fashion that the Twin Towers did not. And that was an awe-inspiring spectacle for me. I was genuinely taken back by that. It's I don't want to say nice. It's interesting to be wowed like that in movies again and not have it touch a realistic nerve, even though I'm associating it with something that that realistically happened. You know, the tower falling wasn't the thing. It was the fact that there was, you know, the rampage thing. You know, you got all these beasts climbing on it and fighting. I wasn't about that. I was about the spectacle of the building falling. That's the one thing I remember about Rampage. Seeing the Sears Tower fall, and it's not the Sears Tower. And being like, wow, that was kind of, can we do more of that in the future? I mean, Airport, there was like 8 of those movies. By the way, this movie's about 3 genetically fucked up animals that get huge and fight each other, even though all I talked about was the fucking Sears Tower going down. Oh yeah, The Rock's in it too. Mary Sue. Next, Lizzie, about Lizzie Borden and her lesbianic ways, apparently. I don't know much about the Lizzie Borden story. I thought I did, and then saw this movie, and I don't. They don't focus too much on the murder. They focus on the lead up to the murder, and that Lizzie Borden actually has a bit of a wandering eye. Interesting. That's interesting. I don't want to say much more about this. Again, because I don't know much about the Lizzie Borden who murdered her parents with an axe. Spoiler. All right, lastly for this little section here, it's Skyscraper. It wasn't as die-hardy as I was expecting. If you're afraid of heights, this movie will certainly get you going a bit there. But again, The Rock in a increasingly more Mary Sue-ish type role. He's doing a lot of these where, I mean, yeah, he's missing a leg, so there he's overcoming that, and saving the day by leaping off of one building into another, high above a city in a tall building that is being occupied and terrorized. We're only 20% of the way through this list, folks. Skyscraper. Action. You want to see this? Go ahead. I'll watch Die Hard again. Listen, for as much as it gets compared to Die Hard, it's not completely Die Hard. It's not completely The Towering Inferno. For as much as The Rock shared images of like adapted posters to look like those 2 movies for this marketing blitz, I'd rather watch The Rock do wrestling right now than shit like this. So that's that. That's 100 to 81. I'll be doing 80 to 61 next, and then 60 to 41 after that. And then I think you can figure out where I'm going after that. Straight to number 1. No. Thank you for joining me. Let me know down below anything that I listed here. If you have it a bit higher on your list, or if you have interest in something I've listed that perhaps you haven't been able to get a hold of or don't know. I'm probably isolating Stillwater here. If you need to know where to find some of these movies, or anything else that perhaps I just kind of steamrolled in being a dick, let me know. Let me know down below. If you want a shirt, go to my Patreon. Otherwise, we'll see you. We'll see you soon with more movies that I'm gonna progressively like more and more. Have a day.